I just came up from the sub-basement. I think that rat got up in the mechanism. Yeah, he got up into the workings. My guess is he, got torn to bits up there. He didn't get up in the mechanism. How do you know? Because there are vents all over. How do you know? Because there are vents all over the openings. The whole thing is completely covered in giant vents with tiny little holes. There's no way a rat could get through. Maybe he gnawed through the giant vents. Maybe he gnawed tiny little holes. Maybe he was specifically designed to keep out rats. No chance that a rat could get through. Maybe he gnawed through the vent. The venting is metal. Yeah, well, my mother had... Yeah, well, my mother had a rat in the walls of her apartment. Kept her up all hours of the night. She could hear it clicking back and forth. The venting is metal. This went on for months. The rat's noises clicking back and forth. The venting is metal. It nearly drove her insane. So what's your point? My point is that all the heating grates in her apartment were metal. What's the point? He had to have gotten in somehow. He must have chewed through the metal. He probably gnawed a hole through the wall. Impossible! She had insulation. She had insulation. That doesn't mean anything. He could gnaw through insulation. It's fiberglass. Do you know what happens to a person who eats fiberglass? Yes, I do. How do you know that? I had a friend in kindergarten who ate fiberglass once. Really? Yeah! What happened to him? He could only eat baby food for 1 whole year. Well, my mama's rat didn't have baby's food. Baby food is irrelevant. We're not talking about a real person. We're talking about a rat. So you're telling me they eat trash and feces. So you're telling me that this rat lived in my mother's walls for months, literally months, with a stomach full of fiberglass? Not a chance. He'd have had better odds. He'd have had better odds in the mechanism. He'd have had better odds in the mechanism. Now I know, you crazy. Do you have any idea what goes on up in that there mechanism? Of course I do. Then you should know he couldn't last 5 minutes up there. He couldn't even last 1 minute. The second he gets in there, the workings would have at him. So you admit he could get through. No, I do not. Here's another thing. What reason would he have to get up in there? There's no food. No H2O. No food. No H2O. Why would he waste his energy? What would drive him to waste his energy like that? Well, I'm not a rat, so I wouldn't know. Curiosity, maybe? Curiosity? 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 Yeah, maybe. We're not talking about a kitten or a small child here. We're talking about a rat. He's not curious. He hardly has a little thought in his little head. He's not going through all that trouble for nothing. Well, maybe he just wanted to get away from the traps. Think about it. It's pretty smart. Where's the one place where there's no rat traps? The mechanism. Not true. He could simply leave the complex altogether. Leave the complex? And go where? There are places. Like where? Look, I'm just saying that chewing through an unchewable metal vent and getting ripped apart in the mechanism is hardly a clever way to avoid traps. We're assuming his goal is to stay alive, correct? What goal? I thought you said he hardly has a little thought in his little head. Yes, a thought. What I'm talking about is instinct. The basic will and drive to survive. Even a rat got that, probably even more so than a person. How do you figure that? Just think about it. A modern person has a lot on his plate. Bills to pay, errands to run. He don't have a lot of time to think about the big picture. Life versus death hardly ever comes up. Now a rat, on the other hand, his whole day is find food, avoid the rat traps. Find food, avoid the rat traps. Find food, avoid everything is life versus death for him. All the more reason he would try to find a way to escape. The mechanism is no escape. It's the only chance he's got. Like you said, his whole world is food and traps. Food and traps. Food and traps. We've gotten rid of all his food. Cleaned everything out twice over. Now all that's left is traps. And they're everywhere. Look around this place. This isn't life or death for him anymore. It's just death. So you leave the complex. You go somewhere else. You don't say, oh well, there you go on again on somewhere else. Where are you gonna go to? You go somewhere else. You don't say, oh well, and jump headfirst into the mechanism. Where'd gun go? There are other complexes, exactly the same as this one, with the same number of rat traps. Well, maybe you get lucky and find one where they don't do a good job. Where they don't clean quite as well. Where they don't clean quite as well. Where they don't clean quite as well. They don't set the traps right. Then you'd have a shot. There's no way, I'm telling you, they're all the same. Same traps. Same traps. Same procedures. So then what? What do? Apparently you get up into the mechanism. Take a chance on the big unknown. And you take a big chance on the big unknown. And you die. You die either way. You know this. Whether it's in our traps or the traps of a different complex. Or in the mechanism. Or in another mechanism. Whether in our mechanism or another mechanism. But in our mechanism, I die right now. Immediately. But you don't know that 100% sure. I do know that for sure. Even if you do, it doesn't matter. Why not? Why not? Because it just don't. Why? Because you're a rat.